Titus was talking about how impressed he is with how you ask questions and how you're always wanting to sort of dig deeper and really understand the will linebacker spot. As you've picked it up, I guess, what's been your approach to learning the position?
Kind of just soaking all the information in. So when you see other guys make certain mistakes, you try and learn off their mistakes. And even with I don't know if you guys understand this, but sometimes will and nickel can kind of be similar. Both sides play quarter flats, both sides play a curl read, things like that. So you can learn from everyone. So I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of the coaches talk about it. If they're talking to one person, talking to everyone. So just trying to learn from everyone.
How beneficial is your transition from safety, into the box more? How much does that give you a different, capability?
I think playing safety for the first 2 years definitely helped in terms of the way I'm be able to move, being able to cover, having a pretty solid field of zone drops. And then just in the overall picture of the defense, I feel like I got a pretty good understanding, knowing what everyone's doing, because I had to know what the back end is doing. Now I got to know what the whole front seven is doing. So I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of the entire defense. And obviously I got to keep learning. I still make mistakes, but
last year you were primarily covering slot receivers. You were deep in safety. You had deep zones and quarter or half deep. But covering tight ends and running backs, I guess, is it easier? How is it different, maybe?
Definitely fits me pretty well. I didn't really like guarding a bunch of guys who running 4.3s. But yeah, it's definitely a little. No disrespect to tight ends. There's some good tight ends there, but it fits my capabilities well because I feel like I'm gonna be able to run probably faster than them or just as fast and be just as strong. So I think it definitely fits my capabilities well.
James Laurinaitis said you had to slow down a little bit coming from safety because you're maybe moving too fast. How much have things slowed down, and then how fast are you able to pick back up?
It's been great. I think I've been my learning curve's been doing pretty well. I think I'm learning at a high rate. I think initially switching from safety to linebacker, the biggest thing was footwork. Safety, you can take a lot of different false steps before you can go anywhere, things like that. But linebacker, if you take a false step, you might not make the play. So that was the biggest adjustment. I think I'm doing pretty well with it. Coach Laurinaitis, Coach McGrath, Coach Knowles, they've all been coaching me really well and coaching our entire room pretty well. So it's been great.
Why do you have to think about that now, or is that no longer part of your process? It's just
you want to get to the point, obviously, where it's natural. You don't have to think about it, but I think you got to be, in practice, sometimes being intentional about it. And, after practice, when you're watching, being intentional and correcting yourself on those things so you're not making the same mistakes.
What do you think you've done overall that sort of, why do you feel like you've been able to pick things up quickly at linebacker? You only started practicing this position in March.
I think when I was at safety, I kind of had a pretty good understanding for the will. When I was playing Bender, a lot of my fits were off the will, or my job description would be off the will. So I kind of knew what the will was doing a little bit. I didn't know as much about the D-line. So when I moved the will, it was more so just kind of figuring out the D-line and on every single play. So I think that really helped me. And then I think Coach Laurinaitis does a good job just the way he teaches us. I think we get to do a lot of different extra meetings, walkthroughs with everybody. So I think he's helped me a lot.
What's the issue with that, or what's the thing with the D-line that you have to know?
Oh, you just got to understand what the D-line's doing. Playing safety, you kind of understand what the D-line's doing, but you don't know every little stunt, every little, if they're coming off the edge, if someone's bending or not, things like that. So just being able to understand that, in every single play, and I feel like that's what I had to do when I first switched to linebacker.
So sort of where your gap is filling out.
Yeah, got to be able to play off them.
What have you seen out of Garrett Stover in his first game?
Yeah, Stover's doing great. I think both of the young guys, Stover and Pierce, are doing great. Stover's a super, super athletic guy. Payton's just he's just a great football player. He has a great feel. So both of those guys have been doing really good.
Sonny, how glad were you this offseason to be able to just eat the extra sandwiches?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Last year at safety, I was 230 most of the time. So now I'm closer to 240. No, I actually feel better, honestly. I gained about 10 pounds, and I actually got faster. All my times went up, my max speed went up. So I got faster, got stronger, and got heavier.
I apologize for that, but just fundamentally, what is the biggest difference for you mentally about the move from safety to linebacker? Do you just feel more comfortable closer to the line of scrimmage?
I definitely feel comfortable. I love the position for myself. I think playing linebacker is a mindset. Every play, you got to come down and be the hammer, not the nail. And in terms of the fundamentals, just footwork. That's something I've been trying. Footwork and hand placement is huge at linebacker. You got to be able to have good feet. You got to be able to strike. And I think that goes for any linebacker. Even a guy like Cody, who's a 5-year vet, he's still got to work on that every day, just like everyone else.
Is
Coach, is there still any arguing or trying to get you lined up at the edge or playing defensive end or anything?
Oh, we're still installing stuff. We're trying to figure out what's going to happen. See what happens.
Did you grow up
Cody was
wanting to
saying
play linebacker at all?
I mean, when I was younger, I kind of played DM when I was little. Moved back, I didn't play much linebacker, but like more like an outside linebacker when I was little, and then started playing safety from like junior high up. But playing linebacker was kind of always a thought. I figured it was going to happen eventually. So I mean, I was excited to move to linebacker. It wasn't like dang, I guess I'll play linebacker. It was let's go. I'm excited to play linebacker.
I didn't know if your dad was.
Yeah, he wasn't like he didn't push anything on me. Like he liked me playing safety. He felt like it would help me in the long run, and I think it did.
You talked about being the hammer. Is there something like in general that you enjoy about the position? Like, is there a moment in practice where it's like, oh, this is fun. This is what I really. Enjoy
I mean,
about
when
it?
you get to come down the hill, strike an O-lineman, get off, and make a play in the backfield, I think that feels great. It just feels good, like I said, to beat a hammer, nothing else. That's the best feeling ever.
Cody was talking about
2
2 more questions.
But how's the transition now in fall camp at linebacker having gone through the spring?
It's been good. Spring helped. I think I'm getting better. Obviously, camp, you put a lot of stuff in, but it's been great. I think our entire room been doing really well. I'm excited for the season, but just keep getting better every day. I think the biggest thing in camp, you got to check the practice film and learn from it. You can't keep making the same mistakes, whether that's someone else or yourself. So learn from everyone.
Cody was talking
Last
about
question.
you being more comfortable in the box. Is that where you think your biggest growth has come? And is there a particular moment you can kind of think of where something clicked for you in spring or summer or fall?
I think the biggest thing that had to click for me is because I wasn't really used to this, being so close and getting a feel for like what the run action is. So like, as soon as the ball snaps, you see the O-line move, and you're like, oh, I know what the run action is already. So I think I've been starting to get a better feel with that, and you have like those really, really good linebacker plays that make you feel good, like, oh yeah, that was good, like that and like that's kind of, is that what you're talking about, like
Yeah,
something clicking?
right. Yeah.
I think that's kind of what clicked for me. Yes, sir.
You mentioned sort of Coach Lawrence mentioned the way you would ask questions and your inquisitive nature. Was that just you're learning a new position, or have you always been like that playing football?
Yeah, I've always kind of been a guy. I ask a lot of questions. Sometimes it might be a dumb question, but I like to know the little details. Like even stuff where it don't have nothing to do with me. Like I'll ask the corners, like, hey, what kind of third are you playing on this? So like, I just kind of like to know what the whole defense is doing. I think when you have a great understanding of what everyone's doing, like you play so fast because you know exactly what's going on.
All right, Sonny, thank you.
Thank you.